What's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Welcome back to the old subscribers. I'm trying to do this new spread for all the signs about the things that they could work on if they, in whatever situation that they're in their lives. And you'll know how it resonates because I don't know everybody's situation. But I'm on the sign of Taurus. And I think that so there's a message from someone, and then there's, your blocks, and then the advice. So I think that the message is that this person, I think this person always waited for you. This person's wanted you to just come in to their lives for so long, and they manifested this in a million different ways because they wanted you to come in. And I think that they want you to know that they know that there were times when they were not emotionally balanced and they didn't know how to communicate how they felt, because all they knew how to do was probably lash out and cry. And I think that they were just really afraid of you leaving, or they were just afraid of abandonment in general because of the things that they've been through before you. I don't think that this person doesn't want you to hold all your feelings in a cage. I think that they want you to talk about it because they think that they don't know you, and maybe you don't know them because one of you guys was wearing a mask and you didn't really ever open up or get to know them. They feel like you were just trying to be whatever you thought they wanted you to be, and all they wanted you to do was tell them how you feel and come in because you wanted to. The blocks to this is the Six of Cups. So I think that this could go one of two ways. One is that one of you was always thinking about somebody else, somebody from your past that you always had on your mind. And I don't think that they felt like you ever really said how you felt, because you're just kind of daydreaming about being with someone or whatever, and this is like a fantasy. I don't know if you ever said it out loud, how you felt. What did you, it was just always a level of waiting for things to move forward. But you guys have been sitting at this for so long. No one's gotten down from the tree to move. Everyone's just sad. And I think that there were people that were defensive, people that, didn't know what they wanted, people that didn't know if they wanted to fight for it or walk away. So it was like a ping pong ball. It was like always back and forth with a lot of mixed feelings, because I think that there was always a level of someone not really knowing what they wanted to do. Someone didn't really ever see what was in front of them, and maybe there were just commitment issues in general, maybe on both sides, because of whatever they had been through in the past. And there's this level of loss here and heartbreak. And I think that you're just afraid to lose something, but not talking about it and not telling the other person maybe that you were still dealing with something, or that maybe you didn't know that you broke this person's heart because they never told you. But I think that someone just kept it to themselves, and never really moved in. Like, they knew what they wanted and said how they felt. The advice is the 5 of Wands. I think that you guys need to stop letting other people influence the situation, anybody outside affect how this moves forward, because it's like some of you guys need to heal from some things and make a decision instead of fighting, you know, for whatever reason, fighting how you feel, fighting with other people. Maybe it's about not having the disagreement, it's just making the decision instead of being stuck in your head and kind of in this state of depression, because there is really good things here. There's just like, you know, the Empress can bring abundance in every way into their life because they're that balanced and they're standing high in their power. I think that it's time to go within and reflect on the situation and think about things from your own perspective on maybe the things that you did wrong as well as what they did wrong, instead of just placing the blame on one or the other side. Because there's a lot of fear here, or there's just a level of toxic behaviors, thoughts, ways, and there needs to be a completion to a cycle to end this presence in this situation. Because there's love here, someone who wants to someone who, you know, this is here, but there just has never been a decision and nobody ever really moved forward. Because of stability maybe, or maybe it's about knowing that this could be stable. Maybe the way that you think about things because of the way that you were raised and how you were taught how to be is the reason that you always knew what you wanted, but you never really made a decision. Because I think that you were told to do things a certain way, and either this person is completely different from that, or you still think that you need to do things that way because that's what's expected of you. And being stuck in the same state of mind doesn't really bring any kind of happiness, even though it's here. Because there was a pretty painful ending here, and I think that somebody needs to talk about something, just if nothing else, speak their truth to have the clarity. Or maybe it took this ending to come into clarity, but just know that there does need to be something said, because I think that there was an idea of who you thought that you should be with because of the way that they, whatever presence they were in your life, and because there were kids involved, or maybe because no one ever really expressed their emotions in any other way other than in a childlike way. I think there was never anything that there was never a transition. There were some things that needed to end and come back better, but I don't think that anyone ever really said it, because there's always this fear of loss, someone leaving, someone being left out. So they would just think about things to themselves. But it's important to remember that if this is something that you truly want to fix, there needs to be a level of learning something in a new way. How the way that you are taught to do things in maybe a different way, where you can learn from another person in a situation where there does need to be some work done on both sides. I think that the way that you were taught to do things and the way that things were drilled into your head prevents you from trying to do things any other way. Someone just wanted an equal give and take in this situation. They wanted things to be even, because that's how it goes, instead of it just being one-sided. But no one really ever connected with their emotions enough, because they were too stubborn and stuck in how they thought things should be. Maybe they have an issue with control, because they wanted to be in control, or maybe this was a battle over control, so it just left someone not talking about how they felt. Even though there is this wish fulfillment here, there needs to be some communication, or maybe it's time to pay attention to what your guides are trying to tell you to do. Because a lot of you have been sitting and thinking, and I think it's more about logic at this point. What is logically the best way to move forward? And I think that you know that there's something that you need to move on from, and it might be just the way you think. It might be just a transition in general away from something that didn't work. Because you guys can move forward, you do need to move forward, but someone's always standing on the fence, because they think about things, but there's really never a decision made. Even though I think that there's someone that this person or you has always wanted, because this is, this is who they're attracted to, this is who they want. And I think that there was a judgment call that either was made or needs to be made about how to get yourself out of that maze, because you guys know, or you've seen enough to know what to do. And I think that you guys know that you're dealing with your soulmate or your other half, but you need to find the strength to get over some things that happened in the past, or maybe what your idea of love was before, so that you can move forward and make a change in this direction and put time into this, because someone's always stuck in their head. And I think that what is needed is someone to be grounded and to stand in their power and have this role in this relationship, because there's always been passion, and there's I think that this person just wants something stable, instead of just thinking about what you want, actually moving into stability with another person so you guys can work things out, instead of holding back and never talking about how you feel and pushing people away because of whatever deception, whether it's you telling yourself that this person's just going to deceive you, or maybe you deceived them, or whatever the fuck happened. Or maybe it's just you always running away because you don't want to deal with actually trying something new in a new way. Because some of you either have always had more than one person that you've never, like, is there 3 people that you've always never made a decision about? Or is this coming back together with somebody who's always been supportive of you? To offer love. Because I think that you know what you want, but you need to work with this other person instead of trying to do things on your own or separately. You guys need to work together and balance this out, because someone was carrying all of this before, and it got to the point where they couldn't anymore and they needed help. Instead, it just ended up where they had to lay it down and they had to pull away from this, because that's the only way to get this to move forward. Because someone's always stuck in their head about what makes them happy, about recognizing, paying attention to what's been here, realizing that there were things that needed to go for a reason, and that you guys need to even some things out and make a decision so that you can start in a new way instead of living with this regret and whatever feelings, like you feel like people don't love you, or maybe you weren't loved, or just whatever negative feelings that you keep carrying about love, probably for a very long time. So that's why you don't talk about how you feel. And maybe that's why you just started to only worry about yourself. Or maybe this other person is really independent. Or maybe it's time to realize that 2 people can be independent, and it's not about just one person or the other and how they do things for themselves. It's about realizing that you do need to communicate other than, I think that you know what way you want to move forward, but you haven't really told this person that this is what you want. You just sit and think about maybe a person from the past, or you just kind of thinking about things, daydreaming. So you guys have been sitting at this for 3 years? I don't know. That's all I have for the Taurus. Have a good day.